Mr. President, ask unanimous consent that the quorum call in progress.
Senator from Oklahoma, without objection.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, a few weeks ago, there's a lot of media attention in the caravan from Central America coming up through Mexico and making their way to the United States, intending to declare asylum or cross the border illegal. And this is kind of interesting because people don't realize that we have within our laws the ability, if a person declares asylum, there has to be acted upon, but that has been a matter of routine. And we've heard all about people declaring asylum, getting a court date, and not showing up for court. We know that that happens, and it's really a no-brainer. But nonetheless, it's been going on and on and on. In fact, the law does prescribe that anyone coming to this country to seek asylum will be coming to the country through other countries, then they must first go to whatever country they go through before coming to the United States. In other words, someone coming from Central America is obligated to, if they're coming through Mexico, they should go not to the United States, but to Mexico to seek asylum. Now, asylum is not anything that's very well defined. You know, anyone can come in and say, well, my life's in danger, therefore I need to have the opportunity to come across the border into the United States. And we all know what happens. You know, back in my real life, I spent some 20 years on the border. I was a builder and developer down there. I know how the border works. I know the border agents. I've spent time down there, and they have the same solutions and wonder why we don't go ahead and have a solution. So anyway, we're told that the migrants are escaping violence and persecution, but when the media asks or someone asks once they get to this country, they say, no, in reality, they want to seek the economic opportunities that we taxpayers are paying for in the United States, or they may be wanting to reunite with their families. You know, I would think that anyone within earshot right now would want to do the same thing for their families. And so this has been going on for a long time. And while the caravan rightfully garnered a lot of attention, it is really a part of a much larger problem. In fiscal year 2018 alone, more than 396,000 people were caught illegally crossing our southern border by customs and border protection agents, an average of more than 7,500 a week. They come because they know our border is porous, and if caught, they can always game our legal system and stay. They've been doing it now for years. And while the problems are not new, the caravan brings a renewed spotlight to our vulnerabilities. We've got to secure our borders, and we've got to tackle the policies that encourage abuse of our immigration system. After decades of seeing our border breached over and over again, voters responded very actively to President Trump when he was pledging to address our immigration crisis by building a wall. And here's the thing, walls work. We know they work. We're about the only one who doesn't have walls here. DHS has estimated that a wall, and we're talking about the walls that have been in the discussion proposed by this president and proposed by many of us in this body, will deter 90% of illegal crossers. 90%. So walls do work. We know they work. And at nearly 2,000 miles, it'll take an estimated, they've been using the figure, and I think it's pretty accurate, estimated $25 billion to fully secure our southern border. Now, I've heard my colleagues griping about how we can pay for it, a wall, and after all, what we don't need is to grow our deficit or use tax dollars to pay for it. And that's why I'm introducing the Wall Act of 2018 to build the wall and secure our border. And we are going to introduce this. We have talked this over and determined this will work. It's very simple. It provides $25 billion, actually more than that, for a wall by eliminating federal benefits going to illegal immigrants. Now, a lot of people are going to yell and scream, and we have a lot of liberals in both bodies of Congress that are going to say, oh, no, we can't do that. We've got to, you know, liberals are always great about giving things away. But the bottom line, I always think of Margaret Thatcher when I think about this. She said, you know, socialism is a wonderful thing until we run out of other people's money to give away. Well, that's exactly what's happening right now. And under current law, non-citizens who are not allowed to work are able to receive earned income tax credits That's a refundable tax credit. They are eligible because applicants do not need to provide work-authorized Social Security numbers. It's very simple. Prior to 2003, the Social Security Administration routinely issued Social Security numbers simply to anyone needing a driver's license or a bank account. We've stopped that now, but those numbers still exist and allow for illegal immigrants to obtain Social Security numbers and receive this refundable tax credit and possibly other federal benefits. Now, more significantly, this bill that we're introducing would require the tax filers themselves to provide a work-authorized Social Security number to receive the refundable child tax credit. Now, under the law, filers only have to provide a Social Security number for dependents that they are claiming to receive tax credit and refundable portion. Now, that's under the current law. An illegal parent can, with legal dependents, at the end of a tax year, could get a child tax credit for a check for as much as $1,400 per child, and that check comes from Uncle Sam. Now, by closing these loopholes, we can save billions of dollars a year. We can also save even more taxpayers' dollars by ensuring the integrity of other federal welfare programs like SNAP and TANF. By mandating all states use the E-Verify system, we can add an additional layer of integrity to ensure the legal work-eligible status of benefit recipients. Now, these are common sense reforms. You have to ask the question, why would we not do this? Only those legally in this country and eligible for work should be receiving benefits, federal benefits, intended to get people out of poverty and get them back to work. And this is something that actually would work. And they're all common sense. One of these things that falls into the category is, it makes so much sense, why don't we go ahead and do it? Well, we have an opportunity to go ahead and do it now. And only those who are legally in this country and eligible for work should be receiving federal benefits intended to get people out of poverty and into jobs. And finally, this bill is actually an additional amount that is out there that we should be taking advantage of. It says that would increase the minimum penalty for every illegal crossing of the border. Over the past 5 years, there has been an average of 500,000 illegal border crossings each year. Now, by raising the minimum penalty on illegal border crossings, the federal government would raise revenues by as much as $15 billion over a 10-year period. And all of this is more than pays for a wall. Our president rightfully demanded a wall not be paid for with hardworking Americans' tax dollars, and my bill fulfills that commitment by not altering a single earned benefit for any American citizen or lawful immigrant. And Mr. President, to sum it up, the bill will, the other day somebody said, I was having a news conference last week on this bill, and someone said, well, the president has said that Mexico should pay for it. In a way, you could say this fulfills that commitment too, because it's being paid for by benefits that would otherwise go to illegals who would not be getting the benefits. So it's the best of both worlds, and it is a solution to the problem. And it's what the American families deserve, but even more, it's what the hardworking, lawful men and women who are abiding by our immigration process deserve. So that's the bill we're going to be introducing, and you'll be hearing a lot about it, because the one thing that people say has not been resolved is, how do you come up with $25 billion for a wall? It's easy, it can be done, the figures match, and it's the right thing to do for our lawful Americans. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor and suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk should call the roll.